How's it going, everybody? Doing a gum chewing video games ramble here today. I just grabbed a few games. I'm going to kind of tap on them. Maybe talk about those games a little bit, but just talk about video game related stuff in general. I'm still playing Last of Us Part 2. I'll do some tapping as well. Still enjoying this quite a bit. Little spoilers here. I'm using Abby right now. Got to a point in the game where Abby and Ellie have confronted each other, and now it's kind of shot past that to past missions that you're using Abby. So it's kind of showing Abby's side of her perspective of what she was doing after the Joel thing. You know, and then when you were using Ellie, you were doing that. So now it's like Seattle Day 1 for Ellie. Now it's like Seattle Day 1 for Abby. And you're getting to see her in the WLF and what they're doing and stuff. It's pretty cool stuff, actually. I kind of like it. She has different collectibles. She has some different guns. She can make, like, pipe bombs and shit. So, there's some different stuff. And she's stronger than Ellie. Like, when you do the hand-to-hand dodging stuff with Ellie, she'll take a little more for her to kill an enemy. But Abby takes them out a little faster. Not, like, overly faster, but... So there are differences between both. So it's a little bit... The gameplay is a little different, but you're still stealthing around. And she snaps their neck instead of Ellie stabbing the person in the throat or the... infected, whatever you come across. But so now I'm seeing like the battle between the war between the Scars and the WLF. So you're getting some cool stuff there. I kind of like that you're seeing other sides. There's more going on compared to the original one, which you would expect. It's a bigger, feels like a bigger scope and world. You have a different thing. Ellie is doing her thing. You know, Abby is kind of doing her thing, but you're also doing stuff with WLF and the Scar. There's battles going on here, there's going on that. Still really enjoying it quite a bit. I think I'm like 18 hours in now or some shit. So I'm trying to find Owen at the moment, her friend, Abby's friend, and you find out stuff about the two of them in flashback scenes that you play. So I'm heading to the marina again. Not the marina, the aquarium. That's what I'm doing now as Abby. I kind of snuck out because Isaac, the leader of the WLF's got big plans to try to take out the Scars, I believe. So, Manny, one of her friends in the WLF, helped me kind of get out and stuff. So, the funny thing is they, because you have, here's some spoilers. Ellie, I believe it's got to be Abby's dog that Ellie kills at a point. And you kill another dog called Bear at some point because you hear the person say, Bear, no. Because, like I said, all of a sudden, like, they have dogs. WLF has dogs. And they'll sniff you out, so you have to keep moving. But sometimes, you know, they just come at you. And you got to take them out. I'm like, when I was started first using Abby again, you use her in the beginning of the game a little bit, but it's like, oh, look, you're throwing the ball to the dog a few times, and it's like, Alice, come here, oh, Bear, come here. I'm like, oh, I remember those two dogs. I'm the one, I stabbed them because they attacked me. But here's the funny thing about that game, and this is video games in general, and so many of them have a hard time doing this. It's another reason why Silent Hill 2 is just the shit when it comes to story, and I mean the shit in a good way. This game, like, if you've played it, there's little spoilers here, but Ellie starts doing questionable things in this game, and it's affecting her, right? Which is all well and good, but it's like, certain things affect her. Like, when a main character you're going after, or someone who's got, like, speaking lines, and not just, like, random battlefield shit, lines comes out, and you kill them, all of a sudden she feels it, but it's like, all of a sudden she's like, oh my god, what have I done? Yet I've killed countless people up until this point. I didn't have to, but it did. I'm jabbed this thing into so many people's necks throughout the game, you know. And a lot of video games, it's the same thing on Uncharted too. Like, I'm supposed to feel for Nate. Oh, Nate's feeling it. Oh my God, Nate's only killed like 2,000 people over the course of this series. I'm supposed to think he gives a fuck now. And that's the problem with games. A lot of video games have this issue where even if you were playing the game stealthy to a T, you would still come across instances where you'd be still killing these people. I don't think you can knock them out. In some instances, straight a lot of times, you can use them as human shields and shit. And then you stab them. She's like, quiet, quiet. And then you just jab because it's like, kill them. Pretty much, it tells me stealth kill. Unless I can whale them, maybe I can, and I'm being an idiot. That's probably actually the case, but either way, it doesn't matter. The video games has a problem with this. Is you're supposed to be like, oh my God, no, but oh. And Far Cry 5 tried to do this shit too, where I'm the bad guy all of a sudden. They try to make it seem like you're the fucked up one, even though the cult of people were like ripping skin off and doing all the taping people's land, pulling their skin off, torturing them, and I'm fucked up. You know, like, games just don't. It's still well done, and the story's actually really good in this game, but it's still. I understand why she's feeling these things, but it's like it's harder to take seriously when I've stealth killed so many people. Or I swallowed some of the juice of the gum. It caused me to cough. I apologize for that. I don't know why I'm whispering now. Last of Us 2, I was bad-mouthing a little bit, and I paid for it. It'd be cool if they did this. Now, say you can stealth kill the person, or you can knock them out. There should be like a separate cutscene to where, kind of like a BioWare game, like a Knights of the Old Republic or something, where you go down a different path. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, Ellie's been stealth killing people all the time, so she doesn't give as much of a shit that she killed people, like, more important people in the game. Now, if I'm stealthing them, I'm knocking them out the whole time, it makes more sense that they'd have a different scene, you know, based on how many people I've either stealth killed or maybe knocked out or whatever, or just avoided in general. Anyway. Still enjoying the shit out of this game. That was fucking amazing. Let's grab some other random... Man, I should have brought my water in here. I got some other random stuff here. Hell of a survival horror game. Contempt Criminal Origins. This is a Platinum Hits version. I got this... I think I did a video whenever the hell I picked this up last year or 2 years ago. Oh, and it's fucking... I got this from the Video Game Trading Post when it was in... They had a store in the Sunrise Mall, but it's no longer there. Because that mall is pretty much done. But this came from GameStop at some point. And it's back when GameStop put the stickers on the artwork. I never understood that. Why would you do that? It's not even about like collecting purposes. Like if I just want to buy the game and have it, I don't want a sticker on the artwork. Admittedly, there's no spine artwork because the Platinum Hits kind of suck the way it looks. They looked better with the Xbox versions of the Platinum. The original Xbox versions of the Platinum Hits look better. Hell of a game, though. This is one of the first games I played for the 360, and it was so good, man. You play Ethan Thomas is his name. You're just fucking... It's creepy atmosphere, fucking shit. People are coming at you, like almost people are... And just everybody's like coming at you with weapons. And you find out in the second game, spoilers, like they've inserted these things in the walls near where, like, either where homeless people were or other people were, and it like messed up their brain. That's why they kind of went nuts and were like attacking people and shit. But the hand-to-hand combat in this game is visceral. It's fucking incredible. Like ripping rebar off the wall, pipes and shit. Guns are very limited in this. You get some bullets in here and there, but it's very limited. And you're doing some detective work, which they expand upon in the second game. Well, the second game in the first one starts too, towards the end. Veers into like supernatural territory, which kind of takes away a little bit, but Still, the atmosphere in both games is incredible. The second game has the bear scene with the rabid bears chasing you throughout the this like lodge that you're in. This is a really creepy game too. I believe Monolith made the Fear games as well. I guess they would have had. Maybe the first Fear was out. Actually, I don't know if the first Fear was out before this. This was when did this come out? This might have been 06. Oh, where's the date? Where's the date? It was 05. Was this a launch title? Shit, was this a launch title? It was. I think this was a launch title. The Xbox 360 had a really good launch lineup of games. I know they had Call of Duty 2. They had this. Cameo Elements of Power. Perfect Dark Zero. I think there's a Project Gotham Racing on top of like the sport games and stuff. They had a really, really good launch. There's probably some other ones I'm missing. I think this was a launch title. I think this actually came out before the first Fear or slightly after the first Fear game. I can't remember. Pick this up if you're into survival horror and just like good overall games in general. The creepy atmosphere and shit's a great game. And Last of Us Part 2 is the only game I've been playing right now. Like, I'm focused on it. I'm like, want to pop it in and keep going, you know. Really having a good time with it. I've kind of laid off picking up games at the moment. This is one I picked up a little while back. Did a video on, I'm sure, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. No, this is Where in the World, not Where on Earth. It's pretty much the same thing, but it depends on how they want to word it. Honestly, I played some of this back in the day, but I want to say it was on the computer. It was probably in like elementary school or something, like that in Oregon Trail with certain things. But I played a lot of Where in Time. I never owned this one on either this or the Super Nintendo or any other platform you could have gotten it on. This does not have the almanac. I had the Where in very bland cover art there. I had Where in Time on the Genesis back in the day, and I think I still have it in a bin down the basement here. I have that almanac, like the thing it came with. It was like a little pot, almost dictionary. It was like this big, but it was like that thick. Really cool. They all did like Where in Time on the NES came out with it as well, and the ones when they released these on the Super Nintendo as well. But these games are cool. It's cool just trying to figure out, oh shit, I gotta, you're learning some stuff about different places all over the world and shit, and always cool games. This one's a little harder to find. I think I paid like $30-something for this complete. Well, not technically not, because it doesn't have that almanac. This one's more expensive. Where in Time is actually under $10. You can get that. It's cheap. This is a cool game though. I'm trying to get back into like. I'm trying to like think I should say of how I want to collect in 2022. Now I know I'm getting some PS4 related games for Christmas, so I'm gonna be stacked with those. There's nothing else I really want to grab at the moment, except maybe Days Gone for PS4. I'm kind of locked in on that now. But I'm trying to like think of how I want to collect. I think I'm gonna focus a lot on the original PlayStation, the PS1. Pick up games, not too expensive for that. I'm gonna try to grab a few N64 games that I still want. That aren't too overly priced. Genesis, I'll keep grabbing. I grab a lot of sport games for the Genesis because I like them. A pretty nice sport collection for the Genesis. But I think I'm going to go like the hardest I'm going to go at is probably the PS1. Maybe original Xbox as well. Those are the two I'll kind of do my thing on. Speaking of N64 games, here's Indiana Jones, the Infernal Machine. I was kind of hoping the new indie movie that's coming out would have been called this. You should just follow this. This game's amazing. I've talked about this before. It's a top game for me of all time. This is actually my original copy that I had gotten at Blockbuster Video. I talked about this before. A lot of people know this. This game was supposed to come out. My friend had pre-ordered at GameStop, and they canceled it on him because it only ended up coming out in Blockbuster. I think it might have been partially because there are a lot of glitches in this game. In some instances, it almost feels like this game could have been play tested for a while longer, but they kind of pushed it out. There are quite a few glitches in this game, but this game is awesome. It's just a great action adventure game. You're exploring stuff, cool set pieces, especially for the time. Yes, I think this was this came out in like 2000. It's not gonna, oh yeah, 2000. Also came out on the PC, and there was a version on the Game Boy Color that's very similar to this, but obviously not the same. But this game was great. The guy that got the voice indie sounds a lot like Harrison Ford too. This game is just it's like I said, it's the top game of all time for me. I remember back when it came out, me and my friend would play it. We like switch on and off and like help each other out. We would play this. I remember we spent like 5 hours one day just playing it, and we're like, oh shit, we like let's go take a walk somewhere, because like if you play video games for a long time in one period, you like get into get like that weird brain fog, where you're like, oh, you're seeing stuff, and you're like, like all game related shit, but fantastic game. Pricey now. I actually had the box when I bought it. It was the game in the box. It didn't have the manual. I think it was $30 at the time I got it. But it's really cool. It's fairly long too. There's a lot of stuff. You find treasures. Like I said, there's different set pieces and stuff. And when the game is moving in a normal thing and there's no glitches, it really is nice. But sometimes, like, there's a raft mission where you get stuck on a rock, and the raft keeps popping, and you keep refilling it, but you can't move off the rock because you're stuck. Sometimes you would just fall into the environment, shit like that. Amazing game, though. You know, if you look past that, I don't know if the PC version was cleaner and didn't have that shit in it, or it did. I don't know. Yeah, I just remember that one as a kid. This is another one, not this one specifically, but Tecmo Bowl. This is Tecmo Super Bowl. Well, Tecmo Super Bowl actually. Oops. Sometimes I have to look and make sure the mute is not. Sometimes I'll hit the mute by accident, or it will just be on because I hit it before I like hit record. So I look occasionally, but the first one on the NES was awesome. It was like a landmark game in terms of like how it played. Madden, I wouldn't even say Madden was the better game, but Madden had because I remember John Madden. There was a documentary on it. Like Madden's like, listen, I'm only going to be part of this if you have like a. Was it how many? I can't believe I don't remember this. Let's see, 5. Is there 10 or 11 players on the field on each side? I don't know. I can't believe I can't remember this. Either way, he wanted it to be like actual football. Now Tecmo Bowl, I think, has 9 on the field at one time, or 8. But that's what Madden wanted. He wanted like the real experience. So Madden was a little different in that way. It was top down. The original Tecmo Bowls were side to side, and they played. But the gameplay was so good, and they only had the playoff teams in the first one, and I don't think they had the. They didn't have the NFL license. They had the players, I guess, license. And everybody knows Bo Jackson was insanely fast. Lawrence Taylor, insanely. Those players in that game were like so overpowered. But then Tecmo Super Bowl came out, and that could be arguably like the best football game of all time, because that added all the teams, and it kept stats, and you could play. You have to save in there, so you could simulate a season if you wanted to see who won the Super Bowl, or you could play as any team you wanted, all of them if you really wanted to. You could do coach mode too, where you kind of like watch, I guess, or maybe you just pick the plays actually if you do coach mode. But it kept the stats and stuff. It was so cool. I'm pretty sure you could do trades in that one. Or maybe it was one of the Super Nintendo and Genesis. I don't know, but I loved it. Me and my friends used to play Tecmo Super Bowl a ton. And other sport games like Lakers vs. Celtics and shit. We'd play the shit out of Bulls vs. Lakers, NHL 94 and 93. The original as well, but those two, 93 and 94. I love sport games during that era. Like the 8-bit era as well, but the 16-bit era for sport games. It was like all about it. So many of them were like so good. That was when I got the first FIFA. We used to play that tournaments of FIFA. We used to play tournaments for NHL 94 as well. Me and my friends. But FIFA was really fun. You know, there was NBA All-Star Challenge, which I actually have again on the Genesis. I had it on the Super Nintendo back in the day, but just a great game. I used to play the three-point shootout like crazy. Some of the modes in that game kind of sucked. Three-point shootout was great, though. Every team had a player that represented them in the game. I just love those. That time for sport games was fantastic. This one's actually cool. Like I said, I wanted to play more of this, but I have not. Nope, there's a cat scratching at the door. Yeah, I love those sport games, though. If I'm going to collecting purposes, I'm going to just kind of, you know, I'm going to have to let her in there and she can keep scratching at the door. I think I'm going to focus on PS1 and Xbox, probably the most in terms of like an actual focus, while picking up games, you know, for like a few N64 games that I do want that aren't too expensive, and like a few, you know, some of the Genesis sport games that I don't have that I want from when I was a kid, like Team USA Basketball. Hold on. You're bad, Bubs. Cat got her way in, but yeah. I'm trying to think. There's Team USA Basketball I wanted. There was a few other specific ones that I wanted. I want to get one of the Tony La Russa's. I'm pretty sure. No, did it go from World Series to Tony La Russa, or it went to, I forget. But eventually turned into Triple Play. I want to pick up a couple more Tecmos, but that's throughout. Like, I want to maybe get the two that were on the NES. They're not really that pricey, but they're a little bit. I still need to get it either on the Genesis, Super Nintendo, Tecmo Super Bowl as well. Maybe like Jordan versus Bird was cool. The Lakers versus Celtics, Bulls versus Lakers, and Bulls versus Blazers. And even NBA Showdown 94. NBA Live 95, that turned into. And then it went to the kind of, was it isometric or the side view? The angled view. Kind of was like, I don't know, but those Lakers, they still hold up. Like, I like just playing them. I wish they were a little harder on like their hardest difficulty, because when you play those games, if you do the tournament and, you know, the playoffs, you almost want to lose a little bit. But you end up maybe losing a game, then you win the next like 20 in a row by 40. But I'm going to end this now, I think. But just kind of rambling about some specific video games and kind of talking about how I'm going to go into collecting next year and what I'm going to kind of focus on. Like I said, PS1, Xbox, stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.